Brett Okamoto with UFC President Dana White following UFC 238 from the United Center in Chicago. Dana, I had a feeling coming into this fight card that we would have a lot to talk about coming out of it. It was just a stacked card with plenty of storylines. Let's start with the main event. Henry Cejudo, put into words what we just saw from that guy.
I'll never doubt him again, ever. You know, there's a lot of talk going into this fight. Oh, well, he really didn't beat Demetrius. TJ was a fluke. You can't deny this kid now. You cannot deny him. First of all, he was getting busted up in that first round. Legs were busted. They were icing his legs after the first round. And I'm thinking 10, 12 more leg kicks, this fight's over. He adapted and overcame in that second round and switched up his entire style, started going after Moraes, trading with him. Then he put him in that clinch and hit him with about, 10 knees to the face. And the whole fight turned, man. He's the real deal.
I'll be honest, I haven't been able to, especially early on, I wasn't sure what to make of Henry Cejudo as far as his selling power. He's an Olympic gold champion, that's great. He's a flyweight champion. He does his little kind of cringe judo thing, and he brings the props up on stage, and I just wasn't sure how well is this going to resonate. After a performance like tonight against Marlon Moraes, do you think that the guy is a potential star for your company?
Yeah, listen, you can think whatever you want about the guy's personality. The reality is, this isn't the personality business, it's the fight business. And Henry Cejudo fights, man. I mean, this guy knocks out TJ, beats Demetrius, and what he did tonight was very, very impressive against a guy who is bigger, stronger, explosive, and has a ton of weapons. He shut him right down. Yeah, could you tell this guy to quit
when they just went over there.
building a friggin', this guy's building a house over here or something.
Always.
Right? Always.
It's every single time. Prior to the fight, you had told me that you would be open to, if Henry won, to defending both titles. Yeah. And the way he looked tonight, I mean, I got to imagine that doesn't change for you, but feasibly, how do you think that they can work?
Two things, which was talked about before this. Him defending both belts and, could he go down as one of the best ever? And I think he answered both those questions tonight. I think he can defend both titles, and I think he obviously looks like he could be one of the greatest ever. Yeah. Very impressive. He showed, you can look at a guy and say, oh, he's got a gold medal, he won these last two fights, but, when a guy gets into deep water, how much heart does he really have? Man, Henry Cejudo showed that tonight. Reminds me of like how John Jones did in the Gustafsson fight.
I don't think it's any secret that you guys had sort of started to at least take the steps to move away from the flyweight division because of, for reasons that you mentioned in the past. Do you start to build it back up now because of what Henry Cejudo has done? What is the strategy now in terms of where the flyweight division is?
It never went anywhere. I mean, it's still here. There was some talk a few months ago. I haven't said anything else about it, but I think it speaks for itself. I mean, Henry Cejudo is the man, and I think he can defend both titles, and I think that's fun.
He said if he won this fight that he would be pound-for-pound best. What do you think? John Jones, Daniel Cormier, Khabib Nurmagomedov, where do you see Henry Cejudo?
Listen, I love Henry Cejudo's, his attitude and his belief in himself, but he's got to win a lot more fights to start calling himself the #1 guy in the world. I mean, you have Khabib, who's 27-0. You got John Jones, who's never been beat and has literally murdered everybody, you know what I mean, that ever was or will be in that division. So that's a little premature.
Okay. Fair enough. One woman who may be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Valentina Shevchenko, the way she looked tonight, of course. I fear for her future opponents, Dana. Do you? How do you feel about matchmaking with her?
She is a beast, an absolute beast, and she's very impressive.
I want to talk about the other bantamweight fights real quickly. Peter Yan, big-time performance against Jimmy Rivera. Aljamain Sterling, I thought he looked great against Pedro Munoz. Which one of those two impressed you more?
They all look good. I mean, if you look at, Yan stepping up, against a very tough, durable guy who was ranked in the top 5 not too long ago, and Rivera came to fight tonight. Rivera made it a tough fight, hard to hit, took some big shots and kept getting back up. And Aljamain, listen, if Aljamain fought like that his entire career, that guy already be a big star.
Do you think Henry Cejudo defends his flyweight title first or bantamweight title first?
I have no clue. I mean, these are all things that we need to talk about and work out, but I have no idea.
And then how about Tatiana Suarez? I saw you two speaking over here. I know she was a little bit upset about her performance. What did you tell her? What did she say to you?
I love her. Listen, she's undefeated. She's young. She took a big jump up tonight, and and she's moved very quickly since the Ultimate Fighter. She needs to calm down and not put so much pressure on herself and do her thing. It'll all work out.
Coming into this weekend, did you think that this could be a fight in which she established herself as the next #1 contender?
100%, absolutely.
And do you think she did that?
I don't know. I don't want to move her too fast. I've done that in the past and moved some people too quick, and I don't like doing that.
All right, well, let's get to the people's main event here, Tony Ferguson versus Donald Cerrone. Obviously an amazing fight. I think a fight that everybody expected it to be. What did you think of how it unfolded and then what happened at the end?
I think the fight was sick. The first round was ridiculous. It's everything you could ask for in a big fight like that. And then, the shot that happened after the bell sucks because Tony fought a really good fight tonight and looked incredible. And you don't want people talking about that after the fight. But it is what it is. It was awesome. The fight was incredible.
Why don't you tell giving a thumbs up to Marlon Moraes there. Can you tell people what to think about that fight? Because you're right. I think some people will get distracted by that late punch. You know more about fighting in this business than anybody else. What is the significance of that late punch? Is there any significance to it?
Well, as we all see every day, everybody in this business has opinions. So everybody's going to have an opinion on it, which sucks because Tony fought a great fight. Yes, he was hit after the bell. One of the reporters said to me earlier, and he's right, the ref should have been in there and made sure that didn't happen. It happened. What are you going to do? Then, Cerrone blew his nose in the corner, and Cerrone's lucky both of his eyes didn't shut when he did that. Sucks.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, for you as the promoter of the UFC, does it change at all for you how you feel about Tony's performance tonight?
No, Tony won that fight. Tony won the fight, fair and square. It is what it is.
I'll tell you, Tony to me looked like a guy who I want to see in a title fight. I mean, he looked like he could be the best lightweight in the world tonight. Do you share that opinion?
Yeah, he looked good. Listen, look at the run Cowboy's been on and how good he's looked. He's fired up. He wanted a title shot, and he came to fight tonight, and Tony won.
So I want to ask you this, and I know that you're not going to make a decision tonight, but I do want to ask about the process of making, because I think everybody sort of knows what we're talking about here, right? Tony Ferguson is a deserving #1 contender, but you have Conor McGregor, who is a big star, and he's had a big rivalry with Khabib Nurmagomedov. And one thing that you have done as a promoter is made fights that fans want to see, but you've also made fights that make sense rankings-wise. Here, I think you have two different options, right? Tony makes sense from a ranking standpoint, in my opinion. You can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but Conor is the big fight that the fans want to see, and you have always given the fans what they want. How do you balance the two when you have such a conflict between them?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even thinking about that now because I don't have to worry about it because they both have fight. You know what I mean? He's got to fight first. Khabib has his fight with Dustin Poirier, and anything can happen in that fight. So I really don't need to worry about that right now until that fight's over. When that fight's over, then we'll figure out what's next.